Understanding the rationale and practical application of every exercise undertaken greatly aids compliance. I talked last night about relevance. Unless what you are doing with the dog is relevant to the guardian's going to find no reason to do it. So in everything we teach people, we give them a reason why we're doing it. We're not just saying today we're going to teach this. Why are we going to teach this? Why would you want to know this? What benefit can it be for you and your dog? It's really important to both dog and guardian. Okay, so before we go on to week 2, let's do some bridge and reward training and making our dog's name important. So I would like 3 volunteers to be dogs. Nice dogs. You're not beagles who want to go and sniff in the corner, okay? But you are allowed to be just a little bit, oh, what's going on? Okay, now I want 3 trainers, please. Come on, remember, these people are novice hand dogs before, they've never used positive training. So, dogs, choose your handlers.
Oh, we get to choose.
Yeah. First in, best dressed. Okay. So, 3 or 4 of those.
Handler.
Okay.
We just eat the one.
Nobody, handlers? Which one's the handlers?
already, they're yummy.
Okay. So, handlers are not allowed to eat sweets until exercise is over, okay? And you see people just about to unwrap them and you think, oh, crumbs, okay? So, what we do, having explained what a bridge actually does, we get people to practice. Okay, so our bridging word is yes. This week our bridging word is yes. What word people use is entirely up to them. Zap, wow, great. It really doesn't matter. It's a word that they are comfortable with. So for today, trainers, the word you're going to be using is yes. All right? And at this stage, the dog has no idea what yes means. So what we're going to do is what's called trace conditioning. We're going to say the word yes, and then we're going to give the dog a treat. So dogs, these are your mouths. Okay, so instructor, trainer, I want you to say yes and then give your dog a treat.
Yes.
Keep going.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, what's very, very good here is that they're saying yes and then giving the treat. Often what happens is that people say yes and give the treat at the same time. Yes and give the treat at the same time. It's called simultaneous conditioning and it works, but it's nowhere near as good as trace conditioning. Okay? You don't need to remember those names, but people are quite impressed by the fact that you know what these things are. It's an easy science, okay? It's known learning theory and it's something that people can understand. So why dumb it down? There's no reason to dumb it down. So you can say, this is simultaneous and it doesn't work as well as trace. Okay, so you've done that. Yes is now important to your dog. But these dogs have been called Fido, Fido, Fido all the time. So now what we have to do is get our dogs a name to be important again. So, sorry Fidos, you'll have to be back all those treats. And now this time what we're going to do, decide what your names are, dogs, and let your trainer know who your dog, what your name is. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go Fido, feed, Fido, feed, Fido, feed. 5 times, and we'll talk about the system of 5s in a minute. So off you go. However many sweets you've got there. So, and Fido, what's going to happen? What's going to actually happen is that suddenly Fido is going to be really quite interested in what's happening. Okay? Because, hey, whoa, my name has value again. It means something to me. I hear Fido and I get something. It's important. Okay, so now we've sort of already got the dog looking at us. But we need to ask for a check-in. We need to ask the dog to look. So what we've got now is we've got the piece of food. We put it like a magnet to the dog's nose. We say Fido, and then we bring the treat up to the eye. And as the dog is looking, we ask for look, watch, whatever the cue word is going to be, if indeed you're going to use a cue word, all right? And then we say yes, and then we reward. And we do that 5 times. So it's waggle the food, Fido, look when he's looking at you, yes, and then reward. Okay? This is timing practice for people because they have to get it right first. Okay? Let's try.
Where does the name come in? Do you use the name here or not?
Yeah. Food on the nose, Fido, bring the food up, and as he's looking, not before he looks, as he is looking, look, yes, reward. We don't ask for anything more than a 10-second hold. At this stage, a 2-second hold is fine. Because let's face it, a direct stare for dogs is rude. All right? Dogs staring at each other is rude. So if your dog doesn't actually want to look you in the eye, I don't have a problem with that. As long as the eyes come up, and even if they're just a little bit past, it doesn't matter. Because the dog is bringing his eyes up. A direct stare, remember, is not good.
Are you using the dog's name or look?
No, Fido.
Both. You're going Fido to get his attention, and then look when it comes up to the eye. Okay, off you go. Okay, there was a simultaneous condition then. You went yes and gave the lolly at the same time.
I don't use it.
But you can see these are people who know what this is about. We get a lot of laughs. It gets people having fun with dog training, and then you turn around and say, well, hang on, you know, we do have to get it right. Okay. Okay, so they've got that one right. So now that we've got the dog looking at us, we can get the dog to do something, can't we? The dog is looking at us. The food is up here by our eye, and this time we're going to go, Fido, look. We're not going to say yes. What we're going to do is take that food back down across the nose and lure the dog into a sit position. When the dog's bottom hits the ground, we say yes, and we reward the dog. So we've now got three things. We've got Fido, look, no yes because we want the dog to sit, lure into the sit, yes, and reward. Have a go. This will do, Fido. This part needs to go.
You used me to pretend.
Okay. I want that food, when you put the food to the sit, it needs to go right on the dog's nose.
Just have a chihuahua, please.
Yes, it's pretty unusual for the trainer to be smaller than the dog. But it's really important. We call it the law of doggy physics. Okay, as his bottom goes down, his head goes up. Whereas his head goes up, his bottom goes down. Okay, so no time. Everybody? It's not as easy as it looks, is it?
What's the difference between doing a hand signal like that and doing the hand signal like that?
You can do it any way you like. I've just gotten into the habit of doing
We
that.
noticed this morning.
And my hand signal is just that because it's so much easier. My hand signal for my dogs is just... Because we don't want these exaggerated hand signals, you know. It's fine at a distance to get a sit like this. But it's no good being dishonest. We all feel the same way. We use squeaky toys. We find something, quite often, a good question to ask when people say, oh, my dog's not food motivated, is does your dog graze during the day? Because very often dogs that are allowed to graze are not food motivated. It may also be that you haven't found the right food. You know, I know it's hard. I've got some footage later of a Siberian Husky that is really hard work, but we eventually got the food going. You know, if they're hungry enough, they'll do it. Sometimes, you know, deprivation is an aversive. Thanks, everybody can sit down. It is an aversive, and we don't like to use it. But sometimes, you know, a really hungry dog will work for his breakfast.
We've got a dog here. Deb's got a deep ridgeback. Currently being a third, fourth class here. I'm not sure. And there's most unfood motivated dog. We just drive,
I start him the night before class, and he goes the whole day without.
Just to make what I suggest.
Hounds are often like that too. It's often hounds.
So what do you think of the idea of just making his daily food intake harder for training? He doesn't get any food other than training. He must be hungry. Every dog must be food motivated.
That's right.
And that's ill or dead.
That's right.
He has to be food motivated somewhere.